All right, everyone. We have Justin Cambra back, and today he's going to talk to us a little bit about his house hack. We've had him on in the future to talk about private money, but let's talk to him about a little bit where he got started in this whole journey. Welcome aboard, Justin.
Hey, Paul, thanks for having me back on.
Yeah. So, for the people that are new viewers, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you have going on.
Yeah, so what I'm doing is a full-time investor agent. I used to work at Amazon, retired out of that. Was that September 2022? Currently sitting at 44 properties, 116 doors. I am kind of restructuring that, but that's kind of where I'm at right now, and looking forward to chatting with you today about house hacking.
Yeah, so let's jump into that. This did this all start with your house hack? Am I right?
Exactly. My
Yeah.
first investment property was a house hack, August of 2016 in Seattle.
Awesome. So yeah, let's not waste any time and dig right into that. What do you have going on with your house hack? How many units? How did it start and where are you today?
Yeah. So started in August 2016. It's 2 units. The bottom one is 3 bed, 1 bath, or 1.5 bath. I live in the top unit, 1 bed, 1 bath. The whole time, the bottom unit is the one that I've been renting out. So as you're doing these house hacks, if you live in the smaller unit, that just helps you pay off more of the mortgage. So when I first started out, I worked at Amazon at the time, and literally within like 5 minutes of me posting it on the internal Amazon, for rent alias, I got a guy is like, yeah, I'll be there tomorrow. So I lucked out. It was pretty easy to get it rented. Started out back then, I think it was 2,300 was the rent. So it wasn't offsetting the full mortgage, but it was a good chunk of the mortgage at the time. I want to say I was only like 500, 600 bucks to live at the property at the time.
Okay. And in this property, were the utilities split or were they all tied together?
So they're split. So when I first started out, that person was at Amazon long-term rental, separate utilities. Um, Fast forward, COVID happens. I ended up switching it to a short-term rental, at which point in time, all the utilities I paid. I was getting more closer to call it 3,000 on average, but I was paying the utilities at that point in time.
So, do you think for the extra work that you had to do, was it worth that couple extra $100 or so that you were pulling in every month?
At first, I thought it was really great because I
Yeah.
was getting a lot more money coming in. But what I realized is that because I was self-managing it, the short-term rental, and then I was like, man, this is a lot of work. So then I ended up pivoting to doing it was called VRB or VRBO, no, Turnover VR. That's what it's called. That was the property management company that I was using, and they were taking. When I switched to them, then they charged like I think it was 15%. So yes, I was making more money, but I was paying the utilities, and then I had to pay this property management fee. So yes, it was less work for me, but net net, it was almost the same as what I was getting for the long term.
Yeah, now you had different people coming in constantly to rent out your place.
Exactly.
So,
And
are you back to a long-term rental now?
no, I've now switched to medium term rental.
Okay.
So it's kind of the best of both worlds because generally speaking, it's around 90 days. So 3 months at a time. And, you know, generally speaking, the people that are coming here to rent are here for work. It used to be everybody was nurses in the COVID timeframe, but outside of that, majority of the people I have now are in for some sort of they have a specialty trade, and they're in and they're on a month to month. Whatever corporation brought them here is paying the rent directly to me, and so in the wintertime I get 3,000. In the not in the peak time I'm getting almost 3,250, 3,300. I was managing it, but now I push that over. I pay 10% for the management fee. So net net, it's more money, less hassle for the medium term rental. And knock on wood, we've been pretty good. I'd probably say 5 to 10 days vacancy between the different tenants.
Okay, so yeah, that would be my next question was your vacancy isn't eating up, that difference. So that's a pretty quick turn on a midterm. So And that's nice because it
Yeah,
gives you time to get in there and clean it too. It's not like your next guest is moving in the next day or that evening. So,
we've had it to where, it was too tight, where, it's a larger unit, and like, to really do it right, you need like a full day of like two people getting in there.
yeah,
It's when you do Airbnb, they're kind of in and out for a couple of days, so it's not like you're cleaning the whole unit. But when
yeah,
somebody's there for 90 days, and then mine's pet friendly, so there's a lot of time spent trying to get like dog hair, cat hair, whatever, pet that they have, getting that stuff cleaned up as well. So we try to have at least 2 day break, but we're starting to look for the next tenant within the 30-day window. So they move in, generally it's for 90 days. So at day 60, we're already actively trying to find the next person to move in when that guest goes in.
gotcha. Um, so you're thinking you're probably going to stay toward this midterm on the bottom unit, and that seems to be working well for you. Um,
Correct.
and we talked a little bit about this before, but do you see yourself getting into another house hack, or are you just comfortable here and just building out your portfolio elsewhere?
So right now everything's working great. I want to get another house hack just because the amount of leverage that you can take, you only need about 5% to get in. So for me, I'm an agent, and so I could really live anywhere 1 hour of Seattle. And, if that right property pops up where I can do another house hack and offset my mortgage, I would take that. So right now we're looking. So I would hope by the end of the year we have house hack number two. We fix up the unit that I'm in, rent that out, probably just do long term there, and then pivot into another property.
Gotcha. And how did this house hacking from the get-go, how did that kind of free you up to one, quit your job at Amazon and build out an investment portfolio of quite a few doors?
Yeah, so at the time when I was very fortunate. Amazon stock was taking off, and I had a lot of Amazon stock. So I was like, this is my one chance of taking this money and, using it to buy some more stuff that would then have passive income. So this house hack was the first one, and then obviously I had more Amazon stock coming. So as I had more Amazon stock, I would sell it, go buy other properties.
Okay.
But yeah, it was, the first one, and this thing is like evolved over time because we bought it and it was, I'll call it dated. It was like 80s vibe. So we bought it and then just rented it out as is. And long-term rental, and I lived on top. Then we shifted to short-term rental. So I redid everything in the lower unit, and then like flooring and kitchen in my unit. Then we switched to from short-term to medium-term. And then now what I have there, and I don't know if we talked about this last time I was on, but I live next to the airport and I have a lot of paved parking. So I'm renting out the parking lot, and when it's all done, I might make more on the parking than the lower unit because
Wow,
like,
yeah, we didn't talk about that. That's crazy.
yeah, so it's like a double house hack. So um, when I first bought this place, I was like, yes, I want house hacks for rent to come in on the other unit. But I specifically bought this one. It's in South Seattle. It's 2/3 of an acre. So I have some in the future. I'm going to tear it down and build up. I can do at least 8 townhomes today, but I might wait to where I can put even more on there. So I'm like, well, how do I optimize the space? So I got set up on Neighbor.
Yeah,
I've been renting out last year, so 2023. I think in January I turned it on. First guest in February, March, first pay. So I'm at about 15K lifetime to date, just over a year in, and now I'm on a run rate of over 2,000 a month, just
just renting
just
out
from park.
just renting out parking spaces. And you
Yeah,
mentioned Neighbor. Now that's an app, correct? That you can rent out parking, sheds, storage space, right?
yeah, they're the
Yeah,
Airbnb of parking stalls rental.
gotcha.
There's other ones that are out there that are more startup-y, and I kind of explain it like Airbnb and like VRBO. Like people are using both, but I would assume the lion's share of bookings are through Airbnb. That's how it is with the parking. Neighbor, I would imagine, has 80+% of that, the bookings. There's one called Pure Storage. I've just tested them out to try it out. Um, and I probably have, 10 to, no, I probably have closer to 15 on neighbor, and I have 4 right now on peer storage. So
Okay.
almost 20 cars being on my lot, being rented out, or the parking stalls being rented out.
So do you have your lot fenced in? Is it open? Cameras? Like what is the security for these people putting their vehicles in your parking lot?
So the only natural security is the location, meaning
Okay.
you wouldn't even know that there's parking behind it. So
Okay.
you have to uh my house is on kind of on the front of the lot, and there's only about, 10 feet between my house and the property line. So you
Okay.
have to drive past it and then up the hill and then park on it. So that's the natural. There is a gate there, but I'm not opening and closing the gate. It's a manual gate. In the
Okay.
long term, it probably makes sense to have it a gate that would be remote controlled, but we haven't had any issues. Well, we had one issue like literally the first week, our first guest, but since then no issues, and so I'm not going to spend the money unless I need to.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're trying to tear this entire thing down and build townhomes, why are you going to put more money into a parking lot? So,
That's the whole thing. I've been like constantly battling like how much do I fix up the house? Because I'm going to tear it down.
yeah,
5 years or so, I don't know, maybe 10 years, but so it's like I don't want to redo like the outer shell of it doesn't look, it's just an old looking house. But if I live there long term and want to keep it, I would have painted it,
right.
you know, right? So I'm just doing the bare minimum on the external, updating the internal to keep the medium term rentals in there. And then I live in the top unit. So it's just, yeah, some of the stuff's been updated. I'm not trying to put a whole ton of money into it though.
Gotcha. Yeah, so one more question on the whole parking situation. Has this is like a double house hack essentially. You're really taking advantage of the property you have. What is the
Yeah.
liability that neighbor the app brings to help you with the cars being parked there?
So the cool thing about Neighbor is that they have another revenue stream that is the tenant or the car uh, uh, owner. They can go in on Neighbor. I don't know what the fee is, but they can pay Neighbor X dollars for the stay. Something happens to the car, they can file a claim. Very similar to how Airbnb has insurance, both for the landlord and for the tenant. So that's the same setup for Neighbor, which I love because I don't want to get into the insurance game.
Right.
Uh, I do personally have umbrella insurance on top of the property insurance. So that if something does happen to the tenant or to the car or whatever, then I have an overarching umbrella policy on top.
Awesome. All right. So I know we're short on time today, so I want to wrap this up for you. If anybody wants to reach out to you about these creative house hacking or as an agent, working in the Seattle area, how do you want them to do that?
Perfect. The two easiest ways is on Instagram.
Okay.
So on Instagram, it's at the number four, JC Cambra. And yep, my other handle is at W2 to Freedom. So those
Awesome.
are the two ways to get a hold of me.
And I'll put that in the description of this video as well to help people out. Um, and last thing, I know you're a busy guy, but I'm sure you watch podcasts or YouTubes here and there, YouTube channels. What would be the number one channel that you're watching now?
So we met at One Rental at a Time, Nickel
Yes.
Mover. I'm sure that comes up all the time. So there's two that are kind of they feed my macro brain.
Okay.
And they're very technical. One is called Blockworks Macro, and the
Okay.
other one is the David Lynn Report. Those two are great interviewers of people, and they have top end guests all the time coming in. So those are my two main ones that outside of real estate, anything related to macroeconomics, those are the two that I'm following.
Awesome. Yeah, I've never heard of either. I'll have to check them out. All right. Well, Justin, thank you so much for spending some time and coming on and talking to us about your house hack today.
Sounds good. Thanks, Paul.
Yep. Have a good one.